I'm Len Gibbs, and I'm going to give you a little bit of my life story, my testimony, and it all started about 35 years ago when I was being born. Um, my mom had me, and I was technically what you call an accident, and she went into a coma when I was born, and she didn't know that she had a kid. And I went to foster care, and my dad left my mom, and then I was in and out of about 4 different homes growing up till I was 18, and never really having, a dad, mothers, and just you don't have that father figure. But I looked up to my brother, which was a year older than me, all growing up, which isn't really a good thing. We got into a lot of trouble together, and we began, doing drugs and drinking and smoking. And but the good thing was my mom, even though she had a lot of problems when we were growing up, she did one thing. She took us to church. A lot of people in our church that did a lot of things that they didn't have to. There was a lot of obedience in that church. It was a very small church. It was like a family church. Everybody knew everybody. But my mom didn't drive, and obviously there wasn't a dad in the picture. And my grandmother didn't drive. She took care of my mom. And so we depended on, or my mom depended on people in the church picking us up. And them being obedient to the Lord, that that kept us in church. They didn't have to do that. They went out of their way to pick us up. And then the men of the church, there was a bunch of them, but they came and they picked us up, take us out to Taco Bell, had fun. Other people, they would take us out and get us pizza, and they never really forced religion on us. They held their testimonies is what they did. That's what I remember most is growing up, going to these people's houses and just these men spending time with you, quality time, just sharing their lives with you, taking you to their house, giving you a pizza, a pop, and just talking to you. How was your day? How was your week? You know what I mean? How's your mom? How's your brothers? And just holding their testimony. But as we got older, the drugs got worse. I got into, acid and crack and coke. And anyway, I'm going to shoot to it. I used to hang out with my buddies, and I drained my kids' account one night. I had an account just for my children and to go to college or whatever. And I bought some coke, and I had about a 40-minute drive home, and I was all by myself. And I just remember, thinking, where am I at in my life? Where am I going? What am I doing? And I was really messed up, and I just thought to myself, I can't do this anymore, And I broke down, and I started crying out to the Lord. I was there all by myself, and I don't know, it was a wonderful day. I was always looking for something, and I always needed somebody, like a father figure, somebody, a dad that wasn't there. But that night I did. I found my father. It wasn't my dad, but I think it was that week I ended up going to church with my boys. Finally, after a couple of years of me taking the kids on my own, she decided she was going to come. And one day, one of her friends was being smart and said, "Why don't we sit up front?" And I said, "Okay, well, let's sit up front." So I drugged my entire family all the way in the front pew, and I sat there and made them listen. Well, I didn't make them listen, but, anyway, about halfway into the service, preacher's preaching, and my wife just starts sobbing, crying. And I'm like, what is going on, And she got saved that day. It was pretty awesome. And then later on, I don't know, a little bit after that, one of the deacons came up and was talking to me, and then I got saved. But yeah, today we're all going to church. Shane's in church, Jennifer's in church, Jackie's in church, and everybody's got 4 or 5 kids, and they're all going to the youth group and stuff. Me and my wife, we teach Sunday school now. My my wife's in a class. I'm in a class. I help with the little kids. Lord's working, man. I love it. He's awesome. I had a lot of struggles, but I'll tell you what, he's done wonderful things, and I think it's awesome. I love him. Thinking about all he's done in my life to get me this far. There's so many things that could have went wrong, but it's pretty awesome. Anyway, if it wasn't for the godly men in the church and the women picking us up for church, you know what I mean? It all goes back to my childhood. You know what I mean? If I didn't have a childhood in church, I don't know where I'd be today,